Joined now by Sidney Powell, attorney for General Flynn. Ms. Powell, thank you so much for making the time for us.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
First things first, as a conservative who believes in equal justice under the law, I can't thank you enough for sticking with General Flynn's case. We know Judge Emmett Sullivan is stalling, trying to keep this case alive. What can you give us? What's the latest?
Well, the latest is that the government has just released to Senator Grassley, who's posted them on his website, and they're now on my website at sydneypowell.com, the transcripts of General Flynn's phone calls with Ambassador Kislyak, which show that both the FBI and the DOJ knew damn well there was no reason whatsoever to go interview General Flynn about anything. There was no potential Logan Act violation. He simply asked them not to get into a tit for tat and make anything worse. He asked for cool heads to prevail and to keep things on an even keel to address their common enemy in the Middle East. And he was honest with the FBI agents when he spoke to them at the time. We still maintain that there are things in the original 302 that would show that. We've never received the original 302 or the first or second draft or so after that. And of course, we know that Peter Strzok and Lisa Page continued to add language to the 302 until it met Mr. McCabe's approval to proceed with a false statements case. It's absolutely appalling what these people have put the country through and General Flynn through for 3 years. They're absolute lies.
Wouldn't it be instructive, and maybe you would agree or maybe you wouldn't, that maybe if the current DNI, Mr. Ratcliffe, would declassify the conversations between the Russian ambassador and the incoming Obama administration, so we could compare side by side what was being discussed between General Flynn and Kislyak and between the incoming Obama administration and the Russian ambassador at the time, to see if they're all that dissimilar.
That could be very interesting. But of course, the Obama administration destroyed our relationships with all kinds of people around the country. And another thing that's clear from these transcripts is that General Flynn was just trying to be a human being and build a relationship with anyone he talked to. And he did that from many countries. He was trying to restore just communications with our people around the world on behalf of the incoming administration. He was talking to as many as 20 and 30 countries a day.
Now, let me pivot back to the judge, Emmett Sullivan. I just want to get your opinion on this. From everybody that I've spoken with, they have never seen a judge act in the manner in which he's acting. As a matter of fact, his actions have been called into question, and this judge, who is supposed to know the law frontward and backward, has to get an attorney to defend his own decisions he's making, trying to keep this case going. I mean, I have said that apparently the rigors of the job have gotten to this man, and he needs to be impeached or step down, because apparently he can't handle things anymore. How do you see it?
It is extremely bad. There is clear Supreme Court precedent that required him to dismiss the indictment on the government's motion with General Flynn's consent, which we provided in writing, as if there were any doubt, since we had moved for it ourselves. And also the whole separation of powers issue, the power being vested in the executive only to prosecute cases. That's the Department of Justice. And the fact that there was no longer a case or controversy, the rule itself provides for the dismissal in these circumstances. Judge Sullivan had dismissed cases like the Stevens case, despite a jury verdict of guilt on a number of counts, when the government came in with new evidence and just a 3-page motion to dismiss in the Stevens case, I think. He dismissed it with no problem. He denied leave to intervene 24 times in this very case, and then all of a sudden the amicus group led by Robbins Russell law firm wants to file something, and he opens it up to amicus. I practiced longer than I will publicly admit, and I have never seen a judge act like this in a federal court.
Well, last thing, a question I have for you. Senator Lindsey Graham says he's trying to get to the bottom of Crossfire Hurricane, although he doesn't want to talk to Obama. He doesn't want to talk to Joe Biden. He won't go that far. He doesn't want to find out what happened that badly, apparently. But what do you expect from your interaction with this case? What do you expect Senator Graham will find?
Well, it depends on how hard he's willing to look, and he doesn't have the power that Mr. Jensen, the U.S. attorney, has, or Mr. Durham, the other U.S. attorney from Connecticut that's really leading the investigation of all of it. So I'm afraid I'm expecting more show out of the committee hearing than I am a lot of substance. They certainly would have an opportunity to provide a lot of substance, especially when they start talking to Mr. Rosenstein, if they will ask him the hard questions, because he's in this up to his eyeballs. For him to have authorized anything in this case is simply beyond the pale.
So I understand you have a new book coming out. Would you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, it's already out. It's called Conviction Machine, Standing Up to Federal Prosecutorial Abuse. I co-authored it with Harvey Silverglade, who wrote 3 Felonies a Day. Harvey and I have both been asked a lot of questions since I wrote License to Lie and he wrote 3 Felonies a Day about, okay, we see the problem, how do we fix it? So in Conviction Machine, we use anecdotes from cases to describe some of the most egregious problems in our criminal justice system. I use the Flynn case a fair amount because, frankly, it exemplifies every single problem in our criminal justice system, from why the innocent plead guilty to our inability to get the Brady evidence that obviously exists showing that General Flynn committed no crime whatsoever. And, the whole situation is just nothing short of stunning and appalling. So Conviction Machine proposes some solutions to 9 or 10 of some of the more egregious examples we've seen of abuses of power by federal prosecutors.
And man alive, do we need it? Because if, God forbid, we ever get a left-wing administration in this country again that decides they want to turn the government against we the people, at least if we get some of the what I'm imagining that you're going to be offering in this book as solutions in place, maybe we'll have some sort of defense. Sidney Powell, thank you, lady. I appreciate the time here on the Salcedo Show.
Thank you. My pleasure.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing news channel, now in 65 million homes. Get Newsmax TV on all the major cable systems or go to NewsmaxTV.com and click on the Find Newsmax tab to locate us. Remember, Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.